Please note it down and you can start solving these questions. There is a question waiting for you there. Are you able to see the question? You may not be able to solve that question, it's okay. If you are able to solve, it's very good. Yes, 57.146. Yes, very good, very good, very good. Super. Let's see. So what is the question given here? I'll read the question for you once. I'll read the question for you. The live loads acting over a structure, at different conditions are shown as below. 30 kN per meter, 15 kN per meter, 20 kN per meter, 45 kN per meter, 50 kN per meter, etc. The characteristic load to be considered here is. So it is given that the various loads acting on the structure, it is given that 30 kilonewton per meter is there, and we have 50 kilonewton per meter, and we have 20 kilonewton per meter, and we have around 45 kilonewton per meter is also acting in that structure, and finally we have 50 kilonewton per meter acting on that structure. So these are the load values given, and we are asked to find the characteristic load acting in the structure. What is the characteristic load to be considered in the design? So how to find the characteristic load? We have already discussed it. Characteristic load FCK will be is equal to Fm minus 1.65 sigma. Is it correct? Fm minus 1.65 sigma. Correct na? This equation is wrong. Fm plus 1.65 sigma. FCK is equal to Fm plus 1.65 sigma. That characteristic load is equal to the mean load plus 1.65 sigma. So what is Fm? Fm is the mean load. What is sigma? Sigma is the standard deviation. Now let's find one by one. Let's start with the Fm. What is Fm? Fm is actually our mean loads or mean of loads. How to find the mean of loads? Take the sum of all the 5 and divide it by number of samples. Here total number of samples or the total number of loads here taken is 5, right? So Fm value will be equal to 30 plus 15 plus 20 plus 45 plus 50. Total divided by 5. What is the answer? Mean load? I think it is 80, right? Tell me the value. What is the load? What is the mean value there? Yeah, it is 32, right? Yeah, okay. Fine, it is 32. It is coming as 32 kilonewton per meter. Fm value, that is the mean load, is obtained as 32 kilonewton per meter. So now we have to calculate the standard deviation, that is sigma. Standard deviation, that is sigma. How to find the standard deviation? Anyone? How to find the standard deviation? See, to find the standard deviation, the equation here is under root sigma Fm minus Fi the whole square divided by n. Fm minus Fi the whole square divided by n. What is Fm? Fm is the mean of the loads. What is Fi? Fi stands for F1, F2, F3, F4, Fy, etc. where n is the number of samples. See, this equation actually not valid everywhere. Our IS code says that use a minimum 30 number of samples for all those things. But if we use a number of samples less than 30, or if I say if the number of samples are less than 30, we have to modify this equation like this. The equation will become sigma Fm minus Fy the whole square divided by n minus 1 under root. And if the number of samples are greater than 30 or greater than or equal to 30, the equation will be different. That will become Fm minus Fi the whole square divided by n. N where n is the number of samples, Fm will be the mean load, and Fi will be the load values. F1, F2, F3, F4, Fy, etc. Here, how many number of samples are there? Tell me how many number of samples are there? 5. What happened in the? Did I make any mistake? Did I make any mistake? It is n minus 1. When the number of samples are less than 30, it must be n minus 1. And when the number of samples are greater than or equal to 30, it must be n. Okay, no. Fine. Okay. So here the number of samples are less than 30. Which equation will I consider? I am going to consider this equation for finding the standard deviation. So forget about this, but you have to remember this equation also. You have to keep this equation also in your mind. Okay, keep that equation in your mind. So you want to find sigma value under root Fm value is 32. 32 minus first load value is 30. 32 minus 30 the whole square plus 32 minus 15 the whole square plus 32 minus 20 the whole square plus 32 minus 45 the whole square plus 32 minus 50 the whole square, the whole divided by n. Number of samples are 5 minus 1. So what is the standard deviation? Tell me the value of standard deviation, please. After calculating this, tell me the value of standard deviation. I need the standard deviation value. Sigma, what is the value of standard deviation? It will come around 15.24. Very good. It is coming around 15.24. The standard deviation here I am obtaining it as 15.24. I have obtained our mean load as to 32 kilonewton per meter. I have obtained the sigma value as 15.24. Now we can easily find the characteristic load, right? What is the characteristic load? FCK, which is equal to Fm. What was Fm? Fm was 32 plus 1.65. What is sigma value? 15.24. So using by calculating, you will be getting the answer around 57.16 kilonewton per meter will be the characteristic load acting on this structure, or characteristic load to be considered in the design, right? So remember this equation. When the number of samples are less than 30, you have to use this equation for finding the standard deviation. If the number of samples are greater than or equal to 30, you have to use which equation? Sigma Fm minus Fi the whole square divided by n under root. Okay, that is sigma Fm minus Fi the whole square divided by n minus 1 the whole under root. The answer here we will be getting as 57.16 kilonewton per meter. Is it clear? I think it's clear, right? This is the characteristic load. If he's asking you to find the design load, how to find the design load? Here we are given with the live load, na? What is the partial safety factor to be considered for live load? What is the partial safety factor to be considered for live load as per limit state of collapse? It is 1.5. Correct, na? For live load it is 1.5. To calculate the design load, this is our characteristic load, multiply it with 1.5, you will be getting the design load. Right now? Yes, everyone is saying the correct. Yeah. Okay, just please note it down. Those who didn't get the answer, please note it down. 57.16 will be the characteristic strength, characteristic load, and 85.74 will be the design load. And if it is done, you can go with the next question and give me the answers. Is code. See, Dhruv actually they are giving us some sigma values for different grades of concrete. We will consider them for the mixed design. Okay, we will consider them for the mixed design. Don't go for this. For taking the design load, we have to calculate it. Okay. So I'll read the question for you. The factored loads at limit state of collapse for dead load plus live load, dead load plus wind load, and dead load plus live load plus wind load combinations, according to us IS 456-2000 are respectively. Option A, option B, option C and option D are given us. Given there. It's a direct question. Regularly or in occasionally they are asking the questions like this. We can find many number of questions from this single table in the previous year papers. Okay, so understanding the values and understanding the load combinations are very important. This actually that's the table I have given just now is actually a very important concept, and you can expect many number of questions from that single concept. Okay, so you have to remember them. Here, as you know, as you people are saying, all of you are giving the correct answers. Answer will be D. For dead load live load combination, the partial safety factor should be considered as 1.5. That is 1.5 dead load plus 1.5 live load. For dead load plus wind load or earthquake load combination, the load combination must be 0.9 or 1.5. dead load plus 1.5 dead load, and for all the three load combinations it must be 1.2 dead load plus 1.2 live load plus 1.2 wind load or earthquake load, right? So these are the load combinations. The correct answer will be D. I think no need to discuss that right now. Then you can start solving this question. It's also a very interesting question. It is an IES question actually. I'll read the question for you. An RCC beam is subjected to the following moments. Dead load moment is given as 20 kN per meter. Live load moment is given as 30 kN meter. Seismic load moment, that is earthquake load moment, is given as 10 kN per meter. Wind load moment is given as 5 kN per meter. The design moment as per limit state of collapse is, options are also given, 60 kN per meter, kN meter, option B 75 kN meter, option C 72 kN meter, and option D 80 kN meter, right? Yes, try to find it. Yes, everyone is saying that C. Did you people consider all the three load combinations? I told you, no? You have to consider all the three load combinations and take the maximum of the three. That was the procedure. That is the procedure we have to follow to find the design load. Did you consider all the three load combinations? If you have not taken, just think about that once again. So given that, I will explain this. Given that live load moment is equal to 20 kN meter, dead load moment is equal to 30 kN meter, earthquake load moment is given as 10 kN meter, wind load moment is given as 5 kN meter. So we have to consider, we are asked to find the design moment as per limit state of collapse. As I have told you, in order to find the design moment or design load, I have to consider the various load combinations. First load combination will be dead load plus live load combination, and the design load will be, or the partial safety factor for to be considered are 1.5 dead load plus live load, which is equal to 1.5 into 20 plus 30. You will be getting the answer as 75 kilonewton meter, right? For our dead load plus wind load or earthquake load combination, the partial safety factor to be considered are 0.9 or 1.5, as there is nothing mentioned about the reversal of stresses. If it is involved in the question, we have to consider it as 0.9. If nothing is mentioned, so I am going to consider it as 1.5. 1.5 dead load plus wind load or earthquake load combination is equal to 1.5. Dead load here is 20. In wind load or earthquake load, which one will I consider? For wind load and earthquake load, which one will I consider? Will I consider this 10 or 5? Which one will I consider? Yes, I will consider 10, right? Yes, you are right. Why we are considering earthquake load? Why? Because it is the maximum one. Yes. So answer will be 45 kilonewton meter. Then considering the third load combination, which is our dead load plus our dead load, live load, wind load or earthquake load combination, the partial safety factor will be 1.2 dead load plus live load, wind load or earthquake load. So it will come around 1.2 plus 20 plus 30 plus 10. Answer will be 72 kilonewton meter. So among all the design moments, we are getting 75 kilonewton meter if I consider this load combination, and I will be getting 45 kilonewton meter if I consider this load combination, and I am getting 72 kilonewton meter if I consider this load combination. As for design, I have to take the maximum of the three. If I consider these three, the maximum I will be getting here for the load combination dead load plus live load. The answer here will be 75 kilonewton meter. There is around 2-3 questions from this concept. Find the design moment, find the design load as per limit state of collapse, as per limit state of serviceability. So this is very important. You will be giving different values and you will be asked to find the design moment as per limit state of collapse or limit state of serviceability. So you have to consider the partial safety factor for loads. Right? So please note it down. So any doubts in these topics? No. Okay, very good. So today actually we didn't discuss much. We were discussing only the basics, but these things are very important. Okay. There's load combinations 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. It's 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. Just remember, take the maximum value of wind load and earthquake load, and when reversal of stresses is there, or when our stability against overturning is there, you have to consider 0.9 instead of 1.5. You have to remember these two things. And for limit state of serviceability also, the partial safety factor will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. You do not forget this table. You cannot take your code to the examination hall. You have to remember some values which are required for you to solve the questions in GATE exam. Okay. So you can ask me if you have any doubts. If I start the next topic, if I start the next concept, I think 10 minutes are only 10 minutes are there, no? So I think it will not be sufficient to finish the topic. You can ask me if you have any doubts. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can ask me. Dhruv, actually we have discussed it, right? The weightage of this subject, I think Dhruv was absent in the beginning, right? Yeah. See, the weightage of this subject will come around 5 to 8 marks. See, recently we got questions for around 8 marks. In GATE 2019 we got 6 marks, questions for around 6 marks, and in 2019 we got questions for around 9 marks or 8 marks. Okay. So you can expect questions for around 5 to 8 marks. Minimum they will be asking for 5. So notes will be sufficient for all the concepts. See, Ankit, see, notes alone will not be sufficient, but I'll discuss all the relevant things. But notes alone will not be sufficient. The things will go like this. See, you have got the concept here. I'm pretty much sure, or I'm 100% sure that you have got the concept of this. You have got this concept. That is calculating this design load, calculating this or characteristic load, etc. And this partial safety factor for loads. See, after this, we have to start solving some questions on your own. For that purpose, you can depend on previous year GATE questions. You can depend on previous year IES questions, and you can start giving the test series after finishing this chapter. And practice. You'll make many number of mistakes. See, all of you made the mistake. All of you have given the answer 72. Why? Because you people made a mistake there, right now. You people have taken all the three load combinations, and you have given the value of 72. So we are having a we are having a higher value here. So we have to take the higher value. We have given 72 as the answer. That is wrong, right now. So you made a mistake there. So understand where you are making the mistakes and learn from your mistakes. Just like I used to say like this, learn from your mistake. That's the thing you have to do. If you do this, success will be yours, because I followed this. Okay. Sustained load corresponding to limit state of collapse is greater than that of limit state of serviceability. Then why it is mentioned differently? Yes, that's an excellent question actually. See, limit state of collapse and limit state of serviceability. See, this limit state of collapse actually we don't know. As I told you in case of chair, we don't know. Maybe 5% can sit on the chair, then the chair will fail. We actually don't know that. We will never apply the load there, na? We will never apply that load. That is 6% load on that chair. We will while designing stage or before constructing it, we will assume that okay, when 6% load is there, structure will fail. So these are all assumptions. These are all imaginary. So limit state of collapse actually is an imaginary condition, right? Imaginary condition. But when you talk about this limit state of serviceability, it deals with the real behavior of the structure. Think about that chair example. You will be sitting on that chair. Check the deflection for this load, for one person's load, which is known as the working load. So that's the reason why these load factor values and this the partial safety factor for loads are considered separately or taken separately for limit state of collapse and limit state of serviceability. You can write it if you want. Limit state of collapse is actually an imaginary behavior, and this limit state of serviceability will deals with the actual or real behavior of the structure. That's the reason why we are considering less factor of safety values or load factor partial safety factor for loads for in limit state of serviceability, as we are dealing with the real behavior, as we are dealing with the working loads. Saksham, if you take the 50% of probability for FCK, then FM will become FCK. Yes, you are right. I have a question for that. I will discuss that. Okay. He's right. If you want, I can discuss it here itself. Suppose we have discussed the normal distribution curve like this, right? This is the normal distribution curve, and for 95% of probability, this is the 95% of the probability. I'll be having our FCK. I'll be having FCK. So FCK is actually defined for 95% of probability, and we'll be having the FM here at the center. That is the mean load here at the center. Center means this is 50%. This is 50%, and this much portion is 50%, and this represents 95% of confidence level. And if in some questions, if it is mentioned that FCK is defined for 50% of probability, what is the meaning of that? Here it was defined for 95%. Now we don't have to consider this 95%. When it is defined for 50%, we don't have to consider this 95% probability, right? We have to consider only this 50%. 50% will come here. So this will become our FCK. This is our FM. So both will become equal. FM will become equal to FCK. If FCK is defined for 50%, that 50%, then FM will become FCK. Right now, we will discuss it in a question. Okay. Sir, why for n-1 we are taking? See, it's actually a codal recommendation. Our code is suggesting that if the number code is suggesting or code is recommending the use of a minimum 30 number of samples for calculating this load and all. But when it is also suggesting that, see, taking all the 30 loads actually may not be possible all the time, right? So we are just modifying the equation for standard deviation. That's what we are going to do if the number of samples or the number of samples are less than 30. We'll modify the equation of standard deviation. That's it. I think you can find the same equation if you search the IS 456-2000, you can find the equation there. Okay. All the things which you are going to discuss in the coming classes, all the things are given in your code book. I will be taking the things from there and I will be delivering it here. But you have to remember them. I have to discuss some more introduction part. Why? Because see, don't think that this is a theory subject. It's not like that. But I think I have to mention many things here. In tomorrow's lecture, what I am going to do is I will be discussing about the characteristic strength of the concrete. We will be discussing about the design strength of the concrete. Similar to this, I will be discussing about the partial safety factor for material angle. Yes, I am doing that. Yes, listen here. I will explain again. In tomorrow's class, I will be discussing about the characteristic strength of concrete, design strength of the concrete, or partial safety factor for materials, that is concrete and steel, in for limit state of collapse and limit state of serviceability. Then after that, we will discuss about the stress strain curve of the concrete, which is very important, and we will discuss about the Young's modulus of the concrete, which is the most important topic when we discuss this chapter. Then I will discuss about creep of concrete. I will discuss about shrinkage of concrete, not theory, but only the relevant things. Okay.